Hi.
There are two things you should know about me. The first is I love paddleboarding. I live on a magnificent freshwater lake on Long Island, and I've been stand-up paddleboarding every day that weather permits for years. I may not look like the most fit person, but these thunder thighs really keep me balanced. Moving across the water on my paddleboard brings me a sense of peace. It gives me time to remember all the things I'm grateful for. The second thing you should know is I love coaching. This is my 26th year in the incomparable dental field, constantly studying, listening, and watching to the legends of practice management coaching that are in this room today. And all the while, I was sharing what I was learning, and I was kind of coaching all along. I finally figured out 7 years ago, people would actually pay me to coach their dental practices. Who knew? In particular, I love to coach extraordinary customer service. Would you all agree that there are plenty of opportunities in this world for me to coach extraordinary customer service? In fact, my husband Rich sometimes says, "Really, Kelly, do you have to coach the gas station attendant or the UPS driver?" I can't turn it off, but luckily he puts up with me. So you may appreciate 4 years ago when I got the diagnosis that I had a massive, complicated tumor the size of a baseball on my right shoulder. The thought of being a one-armed paddleboarder just didn't appeal to me. I could just visualize myself going around in tiny circles on the lake while my neighbors watched on from their yards. I'd wave, but I've only got the one arm. The news was not good, and my only option was surgery. So I figured that I needed to just put my big girl panties on and get my head in the game for this. I strategically scheduled the first surgical appointment of the day on my surgeon's first day back from vacation. Pretty smart, right? My husband, Rich, is a great guy. I said, "You know what, just drop me off and pick me up later. It's really no big deal." But he insisted that he stay with me through the surgical preparation until they took me in for the actual surgery. As I lie there, donning a very unflattering hospital gown and a surgical hair cap on my head within this surgical pre-holding cubicle thing, the nurses had a very different concentration that morning. I could hear them chatting and see their feet beneath the curtain. "Sarah, I've got 10,000 steps on my pedometer today. How many do you have?" "I've got 15,000, Susan. I came in early. We are going to win this hospital-wide fitness contest and get that bonus." And as I lie there, waiting and waiting, beginning to lose that sense of calm I had when I arrived, just wishing someone would stop and focus on me. But it gets worse. The doctor approaches the curtain, and I hear Nurse Susan say, "Good morning, Dr. O'Neill. How was your vacation? You don't look tan." To which he replies, "It was terrible. My whole family was sick all week. I feel like I'm coming down with something, and it rained almost every day. I wish I could say it was better." And the curtain flies open, and he approaches me. "Good morning, Dr. O'Neill. How are you?" Believe it or not, the guy replies with the same miserable details that he gave to Nurse Susan, but he went on for like 15 minutes, it seemed like. This time, though, he said it to the coach who can't stop coaching. And I look over at my husband, who is now dissolving into the chair that he's been sitting in, and he gives me that, "Oh no, not here, not now" face I've seen so many times before. But it was too late. The words already left my lips. And I said, "Doctor, you're getting ready to put me under general anesthesia and cut open my shoulder and take stuff out and put stuff back in, and this might affect the ability for me to paddleboard if it doesn't go perfectly, and that's just not going to work for me. So we have two choices. We can either schedule this on a day that you're in a better mood, or we can have a do-over." He looked really surprised at first. And there was a long, awkward pause. And then he said, "I'll take the do-over." Suddenly, he leaves the cubicle, and I see his feet, and I can hear him take a few really deep breaths. And the curtain reopens. "Good morning, Dr. O'Neill. How are you?" So as you can see, the surgery was a success. My family can no longer call me Igor, the humpback from the old classic Young Frankenstein movie. And I was back on my beloved paddleboard in 6 weeks. I once heard a doctor say to his team, a dentist say to his team, I want our patients to feel that they caught us on our most competent day. Whether they did or not, our most competent day. And that is my goal for all of you today. Whether you are or not, and in fact, you can count on not always having your most competent day. Things go wrong. That's not something we can control. What we can control is what we choose to project. We have the wonderful opportunity as dental professionals to help our patients have the most positive, long-lasting memory of the care that we provide through extraordinary customer service. And as the brilliant Tom Sullivan shared with us this morning, the most important thing is that it must come from the heart. So, when it comes to customer service, there are 3 things that I want you to know. The first is that the phone is often the first contact. So any dental professional that answers the phone, whether it is their regular job or not, must know that the instructions for answering the phone have been clearly outlined and constantly reviewed, and that they, the second they pick up that phone, become the director of first impressions, right? Remember Julie, what was her name? Julie McCoy from The Love Boat, that old classic sitcom? People in this room old enough like me to remember The Love Boat, right? The director of first impressions. The second thing is, our patients need to be treated like a guest in our home. If I came to your home as a guest, hopefully you would not sit behind a wall, or even worse, a glass window, and throw a pen at me and say, sign in. You would greet me standing up with a handshake. Welcome me in, offer to take my things, take me on a tour, and perhaps offer me a refreshment. Our dental patients are VIP guests in our dental practice home. Let's roll out the red carpet to welcome them. Lastly, when our patients ask us how we're doing, do not make the mistake some people make and tell them you're dirty laundry. They have plenty of their own, right? That reminds me. Remember Dr. O'Neill? Well, when I went back to see him for my 6-week recheck, he said, your shoulder's healing perfectly. The surgery was a complete success. And that was quite an experience with you. It gave me a lot to think about, and I've made a lot of changes. And as he turned to leave the room, he stopped and said, and oh, by the way, thank you. You don't happen to coach physicians, do you? I believe every one of us has the opportunity to be the example in this world, whether it's with a client, a patient, or a stranger in the gas station, that we can inspire others to live a life of gratitude and positivity. Please think of my favorite quote from the late, great Maya Angelou. People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. We can impact the people around us and show them how they can be more appreciative and they can have a positive, powerful, uplifting way of living their lives. Your mood for each day is a choice. Make it a great one and share it with as many people as you can.